Hi friends, this is Donnie, and I'm here with a very special video for you. I'm also known as WebDev Donny, and I have my little friend here who's going to help us. Yes, he's very cute, and he likes to code with me. Sometimes I discuss it with him and see he helps me debug. So in today's little thing, I'm going to show you how to, given an array, how to turn it into an object. So it's here in the screen to show you kind of where we're going. So given array that has, for example, letters in it, A, B, A, that keep repeating over and over again, we're going to turn it into an object here on line 4 so that uh, the in this object then, the key of each key value pair is going to be the individual element, and then we're just going to count out how many there are. So we're going to be able to know that there are 3 A's. See, A. There are 3, and there are 2 B's, 1 B, 2 B's, and so on. So that's what this little method I'm going to teach you does. And why would you want to do that? Well, it opens up a lot of algorithms for you that those of you who are doing algorithms are trying to get into code school, this is really useful. So for example, you'll get the question, well, given this array, determine which element occurs most frequently. And this is how you do it. You turn it into, or one way I should say, you can turn it into an object and then figure out which one has the largest value, or any variation thereof. So uh, the least, which element occurs the least, which element occurs, or which elements occur at least twice. That any variation on that. So that's what we're going to do. And just for my setup, just in case you're curious, I'm using VS Studio, and I'm using an extension called Quokka. I'm going to write that down here, Quokka. So if you haven't gotten Quokka yet, you should get it because it's really handy. You'll see when we start running the code how easy it is just to run it in here without going to the console, without doing node and that kind of thing. So anyway, all right, but let's do the coding. So let's start doing that. And we're going to set it up. So we're going to make this function. We're going to call it array to, whoops, object. And it's going to take an array. And then, so we've got the function set up. All right. So let's do some pseudocoding. So to solve this, the first thing we're going to need to do is to declare an empty object. And this empty object is going to hold the count. So we'll just keep updating it as we go. And then the next thing we're going to do is we'll have to loop through the given array. So we're just going to loop through the given array. So if, the way I love to think of code is sitting on the floor, cutting it out, or using paper and pencils. So if you're sitting on the floor with this array here, and you're just going to use a paper and pencil, just so you can visualize it, and you're going to keep track. So put down A, 1, and then B, 1, and then you'll go A, now it's 2, erase the 1 and put in 2. C is now 1. You see, you keep ongoing records of how much it is, and that's basically what we're going to do in the code. So just like I was demonstrating with the pencil, I'm just going through it one by one. So I'm going to loop through the given array, and there's going to be two possibilities. Either that element I'm looping through is in the array, in the object, or not. So let's do that. So we're going to say, is the element in the object? If so, add 1 to its value. Whoopsie, no apostrophe. And then if not, set its value to 1. So if it's not already in the object, then we'll set it to 1. And then the last thing we're going to do is we'll return the object. Okay, so that's basically what it is. It's not too hard. All right, so let's go ahead and code it. So we're going to go up here to line 10, start coding it. So first thing he said is declare an empty object. So we'll say constant. I love these very creative names. So we'll call it obj to be creative. And we'll set that to an empty object. All right. You did that. Now, next thing is to loop through the given array. So there's, as you know, there's various ways to loop through an array. I'm going to use the for of method just because I think it's simplest in this case. We don't care about the indices, but you can use the other ways as well. So we'll do that. So now I'm looping through the array for let, and then I need to see what's the variable name. Since we're going to have letters. Let letter of array. There we go. Oops, yep, spelled it. Okay, I want to move my pseudocode so we know, so it's kind of matching up what we're doing. So we're going to work on this first condition. All right. So the first condition is the element in the object, and we're dealing with if it is, then add 1 to its value. So we're going to test. So we'll say if, and we're looking at the object. So our empty object is obj, and we'll use bracket notation and place the letter in between the brackets. So if obj is truthy, notice how I don't have to put equals 0 or something like that. This is sufficient because if it's not there, it's going to be a falsy statement, and if it's undefined, it'll be a falsy statement. But if it's there, it'll be truthy, and therefore this if statement will take precedence. So if obj brackets letter is truthy, meaning that the letter is already in our object, then we can just add 1. So we'll say OJ. Whoopsie. You can see I'm not much of a typist. Plus plus. All right, now else. And let's see, I'll put my pseudocode so we remember what we're doing. So this is the case that's not already there. So if it's not already there, we'll just set the value to 1. Obj letter set takes the value of 1. All right. And let's see. Let me get rid of some of these extra lines I made. Extra spaces. There we go. And then the last thing we wanted to do was return obj. Okay, good. So that's it. So we declared the empty object, then we looped through the given array. Then we had to ask ourselves, is the letter we're looping on, is it already in the object? And if it is, we can just add 1 to the value. And if it's not, we'll set the value to 1. And then once we've done all that looping through the array, now after we're done, we can then return the object. All right, now comes the moment of truth. See constant my array, we want to check it out. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to run it. So let's give us the, we'll call it, let's say const, my new object, we'll set it to array to object. I always forget what I name things. And we're going to pass it this pre-prepared array, my array. So we'll pass my array as its argument. And then to get it to come print out on this output, and I'm using Quokka, my extension, which is console log. My new object. All right, so now I'm going to run it. To run this extension, uh, you do Command Q, and then you just press Q by itself. And these lights show that it's running, and they show that it was valid. Now let's look down here. Look down here in the output, and it shows you what the output is. In addition, Quokka also shows you up here what the result is. So what we have then is that there are 3 A's, or there are 2 B's, and there are 2 C's and 2 D's, which is what we expected up here from my, since I ran this before I did this. So we got the right answer. I always like getting the right answer. So just for fun, we're going to go over that. I'm going to show you how fun Quokka is. I'm just going to copy this. Let's see, it's going to freak out when I take that off for a minute. Yeah, my array is not defined. Okay, let's put this up here. Oops. Okay, let's go back. I pressed the wrong thing. I wanted to show you, want to just kind of X. Bring it down here so you could see it. There we go. All right. I just, that took me a long time to bring the things down. But anyway, there we are again. So there we back to where we were. Now we can see these lines better. So we're going to do a little game, kind of, if you ever gone to some of these programs debuggers, they run it through a step at a time. So I just wanted to show you. So I'm going to change my array temporarily. And I'm just going to make it just only A. So I just want to show you. My array is now only A. So let's look at the code. So it went through and it's not there. So we've declared the object, empty object, and then we're looping through this array that's only got an A in it. And is the element in the object? No, it's not. So we're going to the else statement and we set its value to 1. And as you can see, look how Quokka gives us immediate result. So A equals 1. All right, now I'm going to go and enlarge that array and add B. Isn't this great how Quokka does this? So now our array is only A and B. As you can see, A is 1 and B is 1. We went to B and we saw that it's not there. So we go to the else statement on line 17. So we set its value to 1. Now let's go a little further. I think you're getting the idea, but we'll go a little further. Now on the third one, so now our array, I just made it A, B, and A. So you see that A is now 2. So when it got to that second A, it went to line 14 and it said, oh, we've already got A in the object. It's truthy. It's there. So I'm going to use this statement. I'm going to line 15 now, and I'm just going to add 1. So now it's 2. And so I think I can stop there because you get the idea. And that is how we get to that array, or to the object, I should say. Let me see. Let's finish. We can put it back the way it was. There. Isn't this cool how Quokka just updates it immediately? So this blue here, I did not type that in. Quokka just keeps putting that in. And it's also in addition put down here in the output. So get Quokka. Anyway, so that's it for today. So that was my first video on this subject. So you've seen, I'll put it back up here. You can look again. So you've seen kind of the long way how to do this. So this is fine. You can do this forever. But there's actually a more elegant way to do this. We can refactor this to be much more clever. And so in part 2, which I'll do next week, I'll show you how to refactor this, and it'll give the same result, but it'll just be more elegant. So that'll be part 2. And then part 3, we'll work out some problems. So hope you've enjoyed the video, and me and the baby had a good time visiting with you, and we hope to see you soon. So take good care. Bye bye.